Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. Holy cow, that was just
No!
automatic. Coffee talk live from the left side of the Atlantic.
And as Pilgrim from the correct side of the Atlantic with his mug of tea in his Miserable Monday. You need to see Miserable Monday tomorrow because it's a stotter. But here we go. Miserable Monday mug.
There's actually no miserable Monday tomorrow.
I know.
There will be a
pressure on you.
There will be a video though. There will be a video. We're going to talk about frontline, best tier 9 frontline tanks tomorrow. Good morning, Wayne Randall. How is it? How is it going? Can you believe it's already? No, I cannot actually. No, it's a. Hey, we have 60 degrees this morning.
Well, you're the lucky ones, aren't you? Because I'm in my hoodie with the windows shut because it's not 60. It's not even 6 degrees here.
But that's cold.
What? How is it?
No,
I
I'm
don't
freezing.
Know. It's hot to me.
I'm freezing.
Yeah, in your t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're freezing in your t-shirt.
But if I open my door, then it's a cold of 60-degree frigid sub. It's like Arctic weather.
Subarctic.
Yeah, subarctic weather is coming in my window.
Good grief.
49
Good grief.
in Dallas.
There's a word we use over here for you. Nesh. You are Nesh, sir.
Nesh.
Ask your good lady to check with the Scouse relations what Nesh means.
I've never heard that term.
Hey up. There's another one. Another Anglophile word for you. Nesh.
All right, I have to look that one up. 43 in mid-Ohio. Yeah, I think that same cold front that brought us all the way down to 60 is hitting the rest of the country too.
All the way down to 60. That's like an unachievable climb for me. That's like, oh, that is nirvana.
I mean, when I go outside, I have to decide whether I'm going to put a long sleeve on or just kind of tough it out a little. That's how
okay.
cold. That's how cold it is.
Okay. Yeah. Shall I use the golf cart as it's open-sided, or shall I get in an enclosed station wagon?
Yeah, I mean, if it's this cold, then sometimes I have to flip up the upper window thing, so I don't freeze my
Awesome.
ears
Awesome.
or whatever.
Can I just do a quick tangent? AI Einstein.
This was not one.
He wasn't here last week. You've won the competition, mate, and I've been waiting for you to come back on to give me your in-game name. I think it's the same one, but let me know your in-game name and server so you can get your 1,000 gold. I've been waiting for 2 weeks to tell you you won.
What did you call him?
AI Einstein? What? Oh, it's Al Einstein. Okay. I can't read. I've got the wrong glasses on.
Actually, I think I like AI Einstein better. That sounds.
Well, it's artificial intelligence.
Yes, that sounds like something more space agey.
Yeah, it is.
A little more
We'll talk
spacey.
space later.
We'll talk space later. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, 100 battle challenge. I finished the Achilles. I'm done with that. I have 59 or 60% win rate, something like that. Oh my gosh, all my stuff just went away. Hold on.
Did it break?
No. Panic. Okay, we're back. Whew, man, it's hard this morning, Pilgrim.
It is hard this morning.
Why is it so hard? I'm just like...
I don't know.
I'm in a bit
It's
of
because it's cold, isn't it?
That's right. So I'm like a sloth. I'm like frozen in space and time.
That's what it is. You're frozen in time and space.
Maybe like the bear that's hibernating. He just doesn't move around very quickly when it's this cold.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I can see. I can see by your play style the last few days in World of Tanks that you're sort of being a hibernating bear.
Actually, my win 8's up. You know why?
Oh gosh, because you've been down at tier 4. I don't
No,
know.
yeah. Facts. That's exactly what it is. Because I've been playing a couple good tanks for a change, like the
there you go.
the Basante.
Yeah,
I'm getting the hang of the Basante, and it's amazing what happens when you play the good tanks in the game.
Yeah, I'm just. Do you see that? Do you see what I'm doing there? What am I doing there?
What?
What am I doing there?
Playing the world's smallest violin?
You've got it, buddy. You've got it. The world's smallest violin. Yeah.
Hey,
the
how come
worst tanks in the world have increased my win rate. I'll go on with you.
how come Einstein says it's 59 in Scotland and you're whinging about being cold down there in the southern climes?
Because it's always colder when you go further south. The jocks are used to it. They've got hairy bodies, squat, hairy bodies. So they're used to it. Even the women are squat and hairy.
No,
So,
he says it's warm, 59 degrees. How's it warmer in Scotland?
I don't know. It's just the way it is in Scotland, isn't it? They always do the opposite to what the English do. Bloody jocks. Okay, Bogey, I won't give your secrets away, mate.
Oh man! All right, where were we? Oh, Achilles is done. Next stream should be tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow's my day off on Monday, and potentially a stack up stream. I've been having a hard time hitting the stack ups lately because I've been so busy. Channel changes are obviously ongoing. I put the first video out. The second one will be on Monday. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what we're going to be doing there.
Right.
What I'm sort of thinking I'm going to end up doing is for the the review videos is putting them all in one big video and just dumping it. Dumping it sounds bad. Putting it on the channel on Saturday. And then I'll bookmark it for your name. I'll put your name on there where yours is if you sent me something, and then we can just do a big, all right, Saturday will be a review. Somebody had a pretty cool idea of doing it on stream, which I could do, but again, it's getting the time together.
Well, there's also the John Perry also said about setting up a second channel, but you're more than welcome to use my channel and have a link to it, and I'll change the name of my channel to Guido's Replay channel or something.
Yeah.
And if you have got a link, people can actually go there, so it doesn't affect your spamometer or whatever it is that.
Yeah. Is everybody?
You know what I mean? There's lots of options.
Is everybody hearing me?
Well, I think so.
I'm frozen.
Bodie, oh yeah, you froze, but it must have been because you were cold. Yeah, I do that regularly, mate. Tier 3, just to get my win out up.
My cam is frozen.
Oh, the cam is frozen. Ah,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's because you've got a potato for a computer, isn't it?
Hold on, let's get this up here. Yeah, when I sent all the winders down to the bottom of the thing. Let me try to reset this. Give me a second, guys.
Okay.
Not sure why it's doing that. Going to take us both off. We'll turn this camera. See if we can get this back. There we go.
Are we working now?
Yep. That was weird.
Ah, it's because of the cold. You're so cold down there.
I froze solid.
It's broken.
I absolutely froze solid. What are the lizards going to do?
I don't know. They'll lose their tails, won't they? They'll be, because they're slimy, they'll get stuck to something metal and then they'll pull their tails off, won't they?
Doctor Who. That is the question, isn't it? Is it worth listening to?
That's the thing. Can we do it as a radio podcast then?
Questionable. It's questionable. Monday for my next stream. You'll see you guys tomorrow on that. Channel changes we talked about. 200th Coffee Talk, Pilgrim.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I went
200th.
back this morning and watched number 1. Gosh, how unprofessional that was. But anyway. It was like some old duffer in his backyard doing stuff. You know what I mean? It was abysmal. And it was all about me. I've been blown over by a storm. What's that all about?
Holy cow. Yeah, that was the storm, but the first one was even before that.
How was it? Oh,
I had a headset with a mic, and I was using that. And like number 1 is I don't know, it's almost 2.5, maybe 3 years back there, I think.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's some going, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's sort of Joe Rogan territory, isn't it?
Well, Al, it's all relative, isn't it? I mean, when you start from negative 5,000, when you get to negative 10, it's
It's still a negative.
It's an improvement. You're only competing against yourself in life. That's it. That's a fight you can win.
Oh, absolutely, all day long. I constantly win the fights against myself because I know myself so well.
If you're comparing yourself to other people, it's not necessarily a fight you can win.
No, not at all. I've never done that. I've never won that one.
But that's what the channel's about, right? Whatever your skill level is, you can get better or learn something.
Oh, yeah.
So quit comparing yourself against other people. Compare yourself to what you are now or 2 days ago.
That was a good segue, that one. I quite like that. I quite like that sort of blending into the ethos of the channel from actually just slagging each other off.
So, professionalism.
Yeah, exactly. Memory.
Right? So, Exhibit A.
Yeah.
200th Coffee Talk. Next week, we're going to give away 3 things. Maybe more. Maybe we'll get all excited. I don't know. But we've been talking about it. It's going to be something like a tank from the store or the gold equivalent, depending on what you want. That's my nebulous idea. If you have any other good ideas, throw them down there. Now everyone's going to be like, $1,000.
Yeah. Well, they can give me $1,000 if they want. Sparky's in the house, by the way. Hello, Sparky.
It's going to be a 24-hour charity stream, and the charity will be me.
Yeah.
To buy coats, because I'm freezing.
Poor Guido charity.
To buy coats and long johns.
Yeah. Yeah, because you need winter clothing.
Because I'm freezing. No, we're going to give away 3 things to you guys. Use guys. So probably premium in the shop or some equivalent kind of thing.
One of these?
I could give away some mugs. Yeah?
You could. You've got plenty because nobody's bought them apart from me.
I have a whole warehouse of mugs.
Yeah. You've got a wall in the backyard made of mugs, haven't you?
I've tried to send them to the poor, but they don't have any coffee to put in them, so there's no use.
That's terrible.
That's so rude. That was so rude. I don't know. What would you do with a mug if you had 1,000 mugs? What would you do with them?
I'd build something. Worthwhile. Like
what would you?
I don't know. I would use small Lego pieces to join it all together and build a special water purifier for a third world country like Scotland.
Out of mugs?
Yeah.
You know what? If Scotland had enough of my mugs, you know what they could build?
A wall.
Yes, and keep your ass out.
Keep the Sassanids out.
Keep the Sassanids. Or what are they again?
Sassenach.
Sassenach.
The Sassenachs. That sort of thing, you know, because that's how they talk, isn't it?
Is that their word for Saxon?
No, it's the word for damned bloody English.
Well, I know that, but is it from their word?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Of Saxon, it sounds similar to Saxon. So
well, yeah, it probably is. Ask AI. He's up there. Go out to Glasgow and ask some local drunk. He can tell you.
No, you're really being rough with the
jokes.
A lot of good writers came from Scotland, man. Like masterpieces, old masters, that time period, man.
Yeah, right, okay. Now, let's get this right. They may have come from Scotland, but they became educated by the English. That's why they're so good. It's got nothing to do with homegrown stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They came south to learn. They were civilized by the English. You know, like we did across the world. The English went round the world and civilized all these countries by invading them, colonizing them, and then setting them up with a system of democracy, which has lasted till today. It's the same with the jocks. Those that came south got educated. Those that stayed north still grunt, have hairy bodies, and paint their faces blue.
See, now Al is bringing out the big guns because of the of TV and the telephone and the science advances from Scottish and Scottish descent to include over here.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of you. Yeah, exactly that.
So he says the lowlanders are actually called that same thing. That's interesting.
Oh,
Lowlanders from the Highlanders. Oh, okay. There you go.
Right, there you are.
There's a lot of great.
All the learning the South got when the French took over.
The Scottish are actually known as engineers, man.
Oh, they are. Yeah, they're very good engineers because they're good with their hands, aren't they, and their feet because they're ambidextrous.
Let's chill.
Let's move on.
Let's leave the amazing Scottish alone.
Yes, the amazing Scottish.
All right, here we go. Let's see. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, your 100 battle challenge, because I rudely interrupted
There it
you.
is.
How are you doing with the Bisonti?
Pretty good, actually.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't care for it as much when it came out. I mean, it was good, but I'll tell you what, it's a pretty dang powerful tank. You got to
My
work.
thoughts exactly.
You got to
Yeah.
work around the derpiness of the gun. The gun will troll you a little bit, but if you're careful, and I have a good hit rate, which means I'm being careful with my
Yeah.
shots, and managing the auto reloader mechanism is important because you don't want to be constantly just shooting one shell. So sometimes you have to sit around a lot longer than you think you want to.
Yeah.
But if you're careful with it, it's a beast.
Yeah.
And
It
unfortunately,
makes you look a better player. Not you personally, but it makes me look a better player than I am.
yeah.
Because if you do it properly, and I found that with it. I
Actually,
did like it.
actually ran into Klaus in a game a couple days ago. He was streaming, I
Wow.
wasn't.
Okay.
He ended up winning, but I dropped 4,500 damage, and the next best on my team was 1,200.
Right. Okay. Well, there's the tale that tells itself, then, isn't it?
My goodness gracious! I can't tell you how many games like that I have these days.
Yeah.
I was in the Achilles finishing that off. A game where I had 1,700 damage, and the best tier 8 was at 1,500. I was a bottom tier. I'm just like,
Exactly.
we had a 0 damage RHM. They're like 5 0 damage guys. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And then oh right, so might as well do this. Then I got this awesome message. Now so this guy has come at me multiple times, all the way back in what was that, August of 2020, so last year. STFU moron.
Oh, really?
Go blow your dad. Okay. So I of course go after him a little bit. I'm not familiar with your brand of ignorance, but I admire your single-minded determination to adhere to it. So then I looked at stats and I'm like, oh, this is definitely a troll. So then a couple days ago on the 15th, 2 days ago, 10K scabs get rigged games, nice joke. And then he calls me, I don't know what this is. Anybody know what a scab blower is?
I don't know, but it doesn't sound
Doesn't
nice,
sound
does it?
nice, does it? Anybody know what that is in chat? What does that mean? What is that mean? What is that mean? What does that mean?
That's exactly what it means.
But I didn't know what it meant, but I immediately admired it. So I said, scab blower is my new favorite insult. Thanks. GG. So Hemi Challenger is the guy right there. So I don't know. You look at his stats. It's not good, Wayne says. I figured that. And maybe I don't type out exactly what it means in case it's, not family friendly. It's clearly not family friendly, obviously, but I don't know. I just had a laugh at that.
It's like they think that they are in your face, but actually they're just making complete comics of themselves when they do that, because it's like, seriously, doesn't personally affect me, my friend, but carry on because it's fun.
Well, I am so far beyond caring about that kind of thing. It's pretty funny.
I'm like, this is real life. What you're doing is not real. In fact, here's my postcode. Come and see me.
Yeah.
You ain't coming to see me, buddy.
Well, I don't even want to get into that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's
No,
like there's always someone bigger and badder than you are. It's just needless.
Yeah, but you use force multipliers in that case. If there's somebody bigger and badder, you pick up a chair. Unless you're in Canada, where they bolt the bloody chairs to the floor.
Pilgrim, believe me, I'm not going to need a chair. Not in America. Not in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That will be the last worst decision you ever make in your life. I live in Florida, in America.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you
Yeah.
your imagination run wild from there.
Is it open or closed carry in Florida?
Yeah, it's. We won't get any details, and I'm not trying to be Johnny Badass, but
No.
the fact is,
But
it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out.
It would not be beneficial.
No. All right, let's do missions and specials.
Let's do that.
Let's shill. Is it time? Let's do it. Where the hell is my light?
Have you got your light?
Where the hell's my light?
Oh no! Is it behind you?
Why would it be behind me?
I don't know. I'm just asking if it is. Oh my goodness gracious!
That's the damnedest thing.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'll do it for both of us.
Now I'm completely deflated. It's as if I am frozen in the wastes of the outside 60 degrees and I cannot move.
Has Mocha got it? Has she sat on it? I'll leave it running for a bit.
I am actually stunned. Somebody has taken my light. Why would anyone in this house?
Well, perhaps your ladder's thinking it's funny. He's stuck it and put it on his car. Look, I've got a police car.
All right. Well, that's a mystery, friends.
Bogey's got it.
We have
Bogey's got it.
Bogey's got
The
it.
House General's cleaned your office. That's what it is.
I'm actually blown away. I have no idea what has happened here.
There's the housework being done today.
Well, here's the thing. We actually, because my wife and I both work, we have a lady come every 2 weeks, and she does general cleanup. But the standing orders don't touch this.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because she loves to stack.
Yeah.
But sometimes it gets stacked in weird places, and I lost stuff off my desk constantly. I do not touch my desk. The desk is fine. So it's not. It's
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
all right. Let's move on. I have no idea what has happened.
I'll leave it on for a bit longer just to make you feel good.
It's really thrown off my mojo here. My light's been stolen.
Yeah, I'll pass it down to you. Hang on. Grab that.
Yeah.
Have you got it? No.
Despite my braggadocio about how you're not gonna get one over on me in my own house, somebody has snuck into my house and stolen my blue light.
Ah, the blue light bandit.
That's the
blue light bandit.
That's the only possible explanation.
It is.
There is no other possible explanation.
No.
It was stolen by somebody who snuck into my house.
Yeah. The blue light bandit. The Smurf. One of the Smurfs came in and nicked it.
Well, here's the good news. Do you want to know the good news?
Let's have the good news.
The good news is that we are now in the shilling portion of the show. And since I get kickback from Wargaming for more shilling, then I should be able to get the $2.95 it costs to get another one.
You should be okay then. You'll be just breaking even with the cost.
I mean, it's going to be hard to find one that starts only once every 5 tries without banging it.
Yeah, you're going to have to sort of like slightly knock it or do something to it. In fact, if you buy it from China, it won't work at all.
Well, that's a great question, Heisenberg. Maybe it is in the fridge.
It could be, because that's where most things
I did have a few beers while watching football last night.
Yeah, you see, you could have gone kind of beer crazy and got the light out for some reason, and now it's in the trash with all the empty beer bottles.
I'm serious. This is weird. Anyway, let's go on. All right.
Let's move on. Anyway.
T77. You may have seen that in the background in my garage when we switched over to the garage. But this is the autoloading Tier 8, which is like the baby brother of the T57, which is at Tier 10.
Right. Okay, that gives me a question then.
Six-pack daddy. Yeah, I taped it to the top of my truck and ran around the... that's illegal.
Is it?
Yeah, blue or red lights.
The blue light on your truck?
No, you can't do that because that's reserved for cops. At least in the States, yeah, you can't have blue or red. You can have
I
yellow.
suppose it might be the same here. I've never really looked at it.
I bet it is. I bet you're not allowed to have a flashing blue light. Yeah.
Because you've got to have the sirens and everything to go with it. Orange is good. Yeah, if you're in a forklift truck, you can put orange on.
Well, that's what the tow trucks use, or anything that's any of the work trucks that's doing hazard stuff. All the utility trucks or whatever, they have city trucks. They have yellow,
orange,
yeah,
yellow, orange,
caution lights. But you
blue is for the police or emergency services. Then.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. AI. I'm going to call him AI from now on. AI says it is the same in the UK. Cool. Tanks, says Wayne. Yeah, T77.
I don't know where my light is, man. And you want me to start talking about tanks. T77, pretty cool auto. Was that last Christmas?
Yes, I think it was, wasn't it?
So that's interesting to me that's for sale, as is the G-Sor, which was also last Christmas, I believe.
G-Sor was last Christmas, yeah.
Was the T77 Christmas or right before?
Well, the G-Saw was a loot box.
It was a loot box, yeah.
Tank, wasn't it? I think the T77 was a marathon, wasn't it? Was it not a marathon before?
Six-pack says the last Waffen.
That's what an event.
Yeah,
Okay.
or a marathon. So yeah, but it was in the end of last year. So these are some of the things that came out at the end of last year. So T77. The thing about this one, I thought it was only no, that has 10 days. The G-SOAR is a weekend thing, fellas. If you're looking for the G-SOAR, you have 22 hours to do that, to pull the trigger on
You
that one.
can't put a coupon against it. That's the only
Yeah,
thing.
you can. I can.
Can you really?
Yeah, I can take
Oh,
it
the only coupon I've
down.
got is one that doesn't allow it to go against discounts. That's why.
Depends on yeah what coupons you
Yeah,
have, right?
yeah.
If I try to do that, then I can get it to $37.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's okay.
I like the G-SOAR. Moontoons just bring up. We had a chat in clan chat last night, and he was asking about the G-SOAR and the cannon panzer. And I gave my take on it. I mean, it's obviously personal to whoever goes to buy it. But he's saying there, you picked it up. Thanks for advice. I like the G-SOAR. Now, I've only got a small sample size. I've only got something like 10 games in the NA.
Yeah.
And it's a 57% win rate for that sample size. But I've got the same win rate on my EU account. I've got 100 battles in it. So I actually like it. But it is a very peculiar tank to play. You've got to play it right. You've got to manage the clip very well. You've got to manage the turret traverse. You've got to move almost before you think about moving and get out of sticky situations, because you can't face hug or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it is quite a flexible. I love it. I think it's brilliant.
So resist the temptation of too early in the game treating it like a auto-loading medium. It can
absolutely.
do, but it's much better late game with a lot of hit points left, where you can start eliminating near deads and moving around the map, because it is decently mobile. But early game, with multiple enemies still around, because the turret's so slow and it's relatively soft, be very careful about thinking you're going to roll out and just start gunning people down. Be careful early, and like Pilgrim just said, clip manage. And late game, with some hit points and boats left, it's absolute beast. Because it also does the TD hide and bushes thing. If you're getting, if you start to lose, you can kind of fall back and punish people who are pushing on you and all that. Yeah, I got a 62% in 102 battles, so I didn't particularly like it initially. I mean, I didn't pan it or anything. I said it was good and had its possibilities. But as like most tanks that are good, as you play it more, even if you didn't like it at the very beginning, by the time you get to 100 battles or so, you really start to figure the tank out. And it was starting to click for me. So almost, and this is a TD, so almost 1,000 experience of battle with the TD is pretty good.
Yes, isn't it? It's almost close to medium territory, isn't it?
So yeah, I liked it. It was good. So that's obviously available there. The TS5 is also available. That's been, I think, for a few weeks now, at least one or two. So it's in there as well, and then we get into the regular tanks down to the bottom.
Yeah.
The gold stuff is standard. There's the... Oh, I thought there was... Never mind. The war chest is there, $99. Again, I would avoid that unless you just really want 10 million silver credits you can get anyway in the game.
Yeah.
Because 10,000 gold is only worth $40 or so, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to spend that amount of money, spend it on the 25,000 gold. It's the same price.
Yeah,
So
for $100 you get 25. Yeah, absolutely. Right, that's ridiculous. 10,000 gold for $100. You only get 10,000 gold, which is only like $40 of gold or 35 or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, all that money for that 10,000 silvers or 10 million silver. That's what I was thinking earlier. We get the little 30-dayer with the tier 3 guy thrown in there. Vehicles wise, this is all pretty standard. The same thing we talked about: the T-77, the G-SOAR, the TS5, and then the regular tanks down there.
Is the T-77 a good crew trainer for the T-57 then? I haven't looked at the crew makeup.
Yeah, I looked at that right before we were talking about that. So it's the same exact crew.
Right.
The commander's a radio operator. There's 4 crew in it, so it's commander, gunner, driver, loader, or whatever.
Yeah.
What wrote commander, driver? No, gunner, driver, loader. That's how it usually goes. And the radio operator is on the commander.
Right. Okay. So it's a match for the T-57 then. Fine. Okay.
But who just said that? Said rename that package a sucker's born every day. Yeah, I don't like that one, man. I think that's. Do I want to say this? I'm gonna say it, and I don't exactly mean it as people might think, but of all the packages I've seen them sell. It's kind of the most predatory.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily like that term because it conveys a sort of malevolence that I don't think is there. But the sucker comment kind of wraps that up.
Yeah.
It's let's call it the most suckerish.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it
Yeah, that's a good way
the
of putting
most
it, isn't it?
suckerish package I've seen them sell because
Yeah.
it just really worth is completely in the eye of the beholder. I am a capitalist leaning kind of guy all around, but that one sucks. Don't buy that one.
Well, it does. It does. Yeah, there are, 10 million in a game for most guys, girls, most players. They can probably get that over a couple of days. Do you
Let's
know what I
talk
mean?
about
10
that
million.
for a second, though. Well, like,
Yeah.
let's break that idea down. Why in the F are you playing the game? Why do we play the game?
Well, I play the game because it's challenging.
Okay, and part of the
Actually,
game.
I'm different.
No, I think everybody plays it because
I
it's
like a
challenging.
challenge.
And part of that is the grind, right?
Oh yeah.
And we
That's
want to
part
get
of it.
and we want to grind a new tank, and we want to. But why is it that we need that 10 million to hurry up and pass up tanks? You know what I mean?
Yeah, see
or
that?
I
Yeah.
have to get to the next tank now. Well, you're going to
Yeah.
get to the next tank. It doesn't really take that much. And again, why are you playing the game? Why not play the game and grind the tank out instead of pay $100 to get 10 million
Yeah.
to buy a tank that you're probably not going to be that good in if you're rushing up the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes
Yeah.
no sense to me.
And if it's the 10 million that you want because you need to buy the tier 10, if you've got, and I'm not saying everybody's like this, but if you've played the game for some time and you've got, let's say you've got 50 tier 10s, how many times are you going to be playing all of those tier 10s? Probably never. You know, I play a tier 10, I play maybe 3 or 4 tier 10s in my week of World of Tanks, if that. So if you want 10 million because 6 million is for the tier 10, then you're spending an awful lot of money to be disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to spend $100 on the game, get 25,000 gold.
Absolutely.
Because as far as
Much worth
enjoying
it.
the game and being able to move crews and do whatever you want, the gold's going to serve you much better in enjoyment of the game. $100 for $35 worth of gold or 40 or whatever it is, and 10 million credits is going to get you one tier 10 and maybe a 9 or a
Yeah.
8,
Yeah.
whatever it equals out to. If you're going to buy a tier 10, it's going to get you a tier 10 in equipment and then with some left over. That's all it's going to get you. So from a pure enjoyment aspect of the game, get the gold. Use the gold long term for enjoyment
Yeah.
and ease of training and changing crews
Yeah.
and doing. I mean, you will get so much more bang for your buck
Yeah.
out of 25,000
Yeah.
gold than you will out of
Yeah.
10 million silver
Yeah.
and 10,000 gold for $100. That's it's the opportunity cost kind of idea.
Yeah.
The either or, the then what,
Yeah. I mean, there are, as always, there's an exception to the rule. So, for whatever reason, if you're credit shy, if you're credit poor, and you just needed to do it as a one-off, then I would probably consider it, but I haven't yet. But
I mean, there's
even
a
then, if you play 30 battles, you can probably make enough silver just to buy the next tier that you want to get.
I mean, there's obviously a disposable income level at which
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does not matter, but that's not who I'm talking to. You know what I mean? If you're
Yeah.
the kind of person who is lucky enough to be in a position in life that $100 doesn't matter, well, shoot,
Yeah.
just go ahead, buy 10 of them. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for most people who are making decisions with disposable income
Yeah.
and deciding where that money is going to go, in terms of this one deal for $100, I would avoid that one and get yourself
Yeah,
25,000
there's far
gold.
better deals out. Yeah, there's far better things to spend that money on. But in my opinion, in your opinion, but as
Yeah.
you say, some people have got more disposable income than others, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Just going back on chat, Moontoon says players would have to have a tank on a tier level to buy a premium the same level. I think that would stifle the game. In my opinion, it would stifle the game because people would get fed up of not being able to progress quick enough to get the next premium. If you've got premiums, you'd have to have premiums at every tier as well.
I don't know how many people. I'd love to see the numbers on how many people just buy a tier 8 well before they get there. I'm
Yeah,
sure it happens, and we've seen accounts like that on occasion. But I don't feel like the game is flooded with that kind of person. But I can't prove it.
no,
I don't
no,
know. It's not. I don't know if it's necessarily a bad idea. It's not that hard to get to a tier 8. But
no.
wargaming isn't going to do that because that's like you said. That's stifling possible income.
Yeah,
If I'm running this company, I don't really care if somebody buys a tier 8 and then walks away 2 weeks later. I'd love to retain them, and that's what I'm trying to do. But if it's a person who's going to just buy it and then move on, well, at least I got my $50 out of the guy.
yeah, exactly. $50 for what? You got $50 for putting a pixelated
Yeah.
object on a screen. That's easy money, isn't it? It's easy money.
And more than likely, if they've bought a tier 8, they probably bought something else as well, like premium time or something.
Yeah,
So the likelihood of me being able to retain them for a while starts going up the more and more they
yeah,
kind of invest.
yeah,
So don't go crazy on that word. I'm just using it in terms of a pixel tank game,
yeah.
time investment, all that good stuff. All right, cool. We go to specials. Not much going on there, and that's it for the shilling. That's it for the shilling. Let's see what we got missions wise. Raise shell. Let's talk about that, guys.
Yeah.
BTED, which is one of the CCs, has organized a USO charity 34-hour. I think we did this last year, as I recall, and it may have been around the same time. Here are all the CCs that are involved. Obviously, World of Tanks is doing it from the main NA streaming channel. We got Commander AF, Damien's Gaming, Watt Now, which is 13 Disciple, Quinetic, who's one of the newer streamers, one of the newer CCs, Jimmy Cribb, Old Man the Wise. Actually, I don't know if Quinetic is a CC. I guess so. Has he been invited? I didn't know that. I'm not sure. Jimmy Cribb, Old Man the Wise, Warchild, Dead Meat, Ominous, Talk to Me Goose, and Sophie Line. So there you go. It's a 34-hour charity event for the USO.
That's a fantastic charity to do it for, and it's also, when you read into it, it's very much worked out very well by Wargaming. So kudos to Wargaming, because they've even gone into detailed descriptions on how you can donate down the bottom, and
Yeah.
they're actually giving away some decent stuff for the participation. In the raffles, there's whatever it is. There's the raffle for the tanks and all sorts of stuff. So, to be really fair to Wargaming, well done. Clap them, because they pulled the stoppers out for it, and they don't have to, but it's a great charity to do it for. Absolute brilliant charity to do it for.
So there's 3 ways to do it. You can participate in the silent auction, purchase a special T-shirt, or direct donations. There is a link down here to go straight to the USO or to the, I'm assuming, the special T-shirt, which I don't know if I didn't read it, whether it's 100% or a portion of the proceeds or what happens right there. The silent auction, I'm not. There we go. Starting Friday till Saturday, players can place bids on special bundles that feature vehicles, customizations, much more. All right, so that'll all be kind of chucked out there. Buy a branded item. So there's a lot of stuff there that you can do to support the USO, to include just a direct donation straight to them.
Brilliant.
And I'm assuming, I haven't looked at it. I'm hoping there must be a way that don't want to do that. There must be a way that they're able to know that link came from Wargaming, because what they're trying to do, or came from Tanks, because they're trying to raise 25,000 in 34 hours.
Yes. Yeah, it must be. If you go via that link, it must have some sort of indicator for the site. Just to catch up on chat, Guido. Bogey's asked for the best premium time package, because he's down to 4 days. Just to go back on the shilling side.
Yeah, absolutely. Premium time.
If I'm going to be very, very honest, I will always go for the year package.
Well, the year's the best deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, it's 180 days for 57. 2 times 57 is 114 and some change, $115. you're getting it for 96. So if you have $100, if your entertainment for the year is worth $100, then the 360 is the best possibility right there. This one, if you're just looking for smaller chunks, you get a little tank. If, whether you have the tank or not, I don't know. Beware with this. If you do have the tank, you're not getting gold for it. These packages that are premium time that they chuck tanks on, they give you silver compensation. They don't give you gold. So watch out for that.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably your best deal. Now, there's other premiums in there that have 30 days with them. So some of the tier 8s I think have bundled packages for 30 days, and that's just a taste whether you want that premium or not. I hope that helps. That wasn't probably a great answer, but that's really all you've got. The other option, well, here's an option. Get, what is it, October? It'll get you to November. 45 days or something, and then get to Christmas and buy boxes, and then you'll probably have another chunk of premium added on top of that.
Yeah.
If the boxes go the same way they usually go.
If they do, yeah. And then just again in chat, just to catch up, just because we do know that you guys actually type. Doctor Who says he's out of here because there's no drops on this.
Son of a.
That's terrible, Doctor No. Terrible.
Fair play. It's not untrue. There are no drops on this channel right now. Awesome. All right, so that is Ray's Shill. Check it out. That's going to happen not this weekend, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. They've actually advertised that quite nicely in advance, because it's not this coming weekend. It's the weekend after.
Yeah, which is unusual for Wargaming because, as mentioned earlier on, they put the news out after the news has happened.
Yeah, which by the way, is not. There's not going to be a coffee talk on that weekend on Halloween.
No, that's right. You said, the weekend after next. We're doing the 200th, aren't we? And then the week after, you're going to have a lie down.
Yeah, I've taken.
Because it will be so stressful.
Probably because it'll be cold too.
Oh yeah.
I'll be too cold. All right, I think that's it, man, for missions and specials. There's really nothing else going on there.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick look.
Keys, wait.
Take a quick look through here in the UI, because I don't think there's anything else going on in here. We've got high voltage, which is the Prime Gaming. We do have a weekend special obviously going on. So that's pretty standard stuff there. Watt Salute Hunting. On track is the Mouse. Commander AF's code is, I did forget that. Commander's AF code is no time to cap. No time to cap. The rental is an AT-15A. And you'll also get some tea and pudding.
There you go.
Pilgrim's
tea
favorite.
Bloody pudding.
Pilgrim's favorite combo. Summertime. Watt Salute, On Track, WZ-132. So not a whole bunch going on.
Yeah.
Nothing there in events. I am currently at Battle Pass 88. Not moving as fast as usual.
Yeah, isn't it funny? I said to you earlier on that I've not really had any focus on it.
Yeah.
Battle Pass at all. And I think I'm really down. I'm 24 or something. I can't remember. Really, really, really low.
Al Einstein says, should be crumpets. Correct.
Correct. Well done. AI.
Afternoon tea and crumpets.
That's the one.
I do like that. That is a nice little tradition. Just hang out, little relaxation in the afternoon. Some crumpets and jam.
It all stems from the days of the Raj. Now, for a history lesson. It stems from the days of the Raj. When you used to have the billy can full of tea. And in the afternoon, mid-afternoon, in India, the punkawalla used to come round with the yoke with 2 billy cans of tea hanging either side from the string, and he would go around the troops at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they would get their tin mugs and they would dip in and they'd have a cup of tea and a break. And that even happened during battle, because what he used to say to the enemy was, "Hang on, just stop for a minute," and then we'd all go around and have a cup of tea. And then we go back to it. So, it was only the bloody Germans who decided to fight through the tea break in the afternoon that caused the trouble.
It all became so very uncivilized at that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Uncivilized Teutonic people.
All right.
Have I abused enough of the different races?
I don't think there's a country that's escaped your
No, not today.
Disdain. No, nobody has escaped Pilgrim's disdain today, my friends. All right.
Oh, dear.
Subjects du jour, my friends. Subjects du jour. Frontline. I guess this is kind of missions and specials. Frontline starts on the 18th. That's tomorrow, on Monday. So you get your October version of Frontline. There will be a November version. I don't think there's a scheduled December. So you got two more shots at it, for what it's worth, anyway.
Well, it's good that, as we always say every week when we talk about Frontline, it's battle pass connected. So that's cool.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
In my video tomorrow, we'll be talking about what I think are some of the better tier 9s for Frontline.
Right.
At tier 9, right? So not the tier 8s. You know, the Sturv K, certainly because it makes credits, not because it's an amazing vehicle, but it's got depression and enough mobility and a good, decent turret. So it works. Other heavies, I think I have the 5120 because of the auto-loading action. The T10,
Okay.
the T10 for its speed, so it can get around the big maps. I think those are both pretty good. Mediums, I have... Go ahead.
Can I just butt in? I'm feeling disappointed because, right. I'm not 100% behind the tier 9 thing in front lines, but it's there now. You can't change it. Wargaming want it like that. But the fact that they're giving you a rental for 1/3 credits for tier 9 is so naughty.
The
So
Conqueror
naughty.
made the list.
Yeah.
for that that's a good one for that's a good one. You know what, I forgot, I probably could have put the Emil too. That's not bad. I think the 5120 is better just because it's just more mobile. And then of course the two American overpowered gift tanks or reward tanks, the A phase 1 and the concept 1B, are both really good at tier 9.
Yeah.
Let's see, for the mediums I chose the Kampfpanzer
Right.
and the Charfuture. I mean, how many Charfutures have you seen in Frontline? Good Lord, they're covered up in Charfutures. I also...
What is the E50? That's 9, isn't it?
I don't think it's that great.
You know?
Well, I mean, it's a list of 4 or 5 tanks.
Okay.
I think it certainly can do it. I picked the T-54, the Standard B, the Kampfpanzer, and the Charfuture.
Okay. Yeah,
I think...
absolutely. Sharpshooter, yeah.
You know, the 430 is the brainless choice. Yes, it's good. I think, but I threw the T-54. I just like it a little better than the 430.
Right.
Leo PTA, I might have mentioned that one. I think I did actually pick the Leo PTA. Yeah, I did pick the Leo PTA for its mobility to get around. Most of these are decent. I mean, you can make an argument for the MX-30, but it's a kind of a specialty thing now as a collector's tank. And the Skoda T50 certainly has its place as well with the auto-loading, but I like the Standard B better overall than the T50.
Yeah. Yeah. I think coming back to the Leo PTA, it sort of excels on the big map because the accurate gun and the long range sniping is just down to front lines all over, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it definitely has its place in there. For TDs, these are way situational. Now the heavier, slower heavy tanks are also situational. When you get to the last guarding if you're on defense and you get to guarding the guns, then some of those big heavy E75s, things like that, are more of a player.
Yeah.
You don't have to go as far to get to the fight, and they carry a bunch, so they become a factor for sure. On the attack, if you had tier 9s at the beginning, some of those big heavies would be valid, but you have to wait till one of the mid zones is captured.
Yeah.
So if you get to a situation where a zone is just really, you're having a hard time capturing it, you might pick one of the bigger, heavier, slower heavies or TDs to help kind of trundle on to the cap and break it down. But generally, you don't have to do that. The game is free-flowing enough that you'll get enough mediums and faster tanks moving around. Eventually, you'll be able to take those spots. But they are a player there. And then same thing for TDs. The problem with doing that in the mid area is if you live, the drive to the next zone is forever.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? Everybody else shoots off, and you're like, dum-dee-dum.
So you're really taking a bit of a chance trying to. Yeah, you're bringing the power, but you're bringing the slow as well.
Yeah.
On defense, same exact comment with the heavier, bigger, more armored, slower TDs. But especially on defense, they're probably even better than a big heavy, because if you get up on some of those ridges where you're guarding some of those approaches, a T95. Even a T30, which is more like a heavy. I think I picked T30 as one of them. I picked T95. I even put the K91 just because of its mobility right there. And I think those are the things I chose. I think I picked 3 tanks right there.
See that sort of TD, gun mount number 3, which is in the castle part at the top of the castle. That's awesome. A TD up there, hold down sort of TD like a T30 can devastate a large portion of that map.
Yeah.
Large portion of that approach. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, so that's what I picked there for light tanks. Really, it's the EBR at the end of the day, right? I mean, the EBR. And then so I picked that. I picked the T49 with the 90 millimeter.
Yeah,
and
right.
the T54 lightweight for more offensively capable light tank. The WZ is kind of an analog, but I don't think it's as useful. Maybe in the cities or defense, but I don't know why you would be picking that at that point. It is a more offensively capable because it's got, what, 24? Well, they're about the same DPM-wise. But it does carry the 320 alpha gun on it. I would stay away from the 1390. The G-SOR, I love it, but it's probably one of the worst Tier 9 light tanks. And its style of pure spotting doesn't really apply to frontline.
No.
The recon airplanes and the amount of tanks, light tanks flying around, and it's not like you're going to get in a bush and have your snipers devastate people. That can happen, but it's not a primary thing. And even in pubs, that doesn't happen often. You're only doing that every now and again. In frontline, you almost never see that happen. The WZ's gun is derpy, so the T-54, I think, wins in terms of that. The Spa Panzer, it's okay, I guess.
Yeah, let's just bypass that.
But I like the T-49 as the all-rounder because it's got great view range. The 90 millimeter is more useful.
Yeah, I was going to say 90 mil good.
Yeah. But, the derp is for the memes, and if you want to rage around in frontline with the derp, by all means, go crazy. Go crazy.
But you die very quickly when you do that.
Well, but it's not a gold round, right? So you're just, I guess is there an HE gold round? I don't know. There is a heat round. There's an HE heat round, or an HE. There is a premium heat round, special heat round.
Yes.
But those are my choices. I didn't talk about Artie.
No, because that's a given, isn't it? Any art in front lines. Any art.
I mean, if it was 6 months ago and we hadn't had the HE nerf, the 53-55 would be an absolute monster in frontline. But as the Artie and HE nerf has happened, then probably not as big a deal.
Yeah.
Wayne says, burn them all.
Yeah. The witch hunt begins.
So now you don't have to watch the video. That's basically what I said.
Well, you do, because there's more to it than just what we've talked about, isn't there?
So did you
pick it up?
Are you excited for the Steam achievements?
Not really, but yeah.
Apparently they've added Steam achievements for those of you who are running World of Tanks through Steam.
Why? Is the first question. Why run World of Tanks through Steam? Sorry, why?
Because they have reach. It's the same thing as me working with Wargaming. There's more reach
as a player, why? As a player, why have another or another connection? Why not just have the Wargame?
Well, for an established player, you don't do that because you can't use your same account. If you're going to re-roll and you want to go through Steam, I mean, Steam has its positives. I enjoy the fact that I can go to one place.
I've got half a dozen games in Steam, but I wouldn't put World of Tanks through it.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you've never played it, you've never seen it, and you're a Steam guy, and it comes through your feed.
Okay, that one, yeah.
I mean, that's what they're doing. They're just trying to get more reach.
Right.
Okay. Trying to get more reach.
Yeah. Instead of advertising on the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah, with weird commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. With commercials that probably make sense in Eastern Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right, cool. Next thing we're going to do, my friends, is let's review the Yo tank.
Oh, yes, indeedy.
Because what I realized today is that it's in the comparison tool. Check it out. M4Y Yo tank. That's the premium. Yo, Adrian. So, I don't know, man. I looked at these stats, and I'm sort of scratching my head a little bit. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting, my favorite word, to see if this game mechanic of not getting tracked or being more difficult to track is going to translate into capability.
Yes.
I feel like it will, but I don't know how much. So the question then becomes, how good is the tank that has the capability, and will it be able to leverage it? And
because there's a lot to it, Guido. There's a lot. There is a change in gameplay for the opposing player
right.
when you're up against that. For example, if you've got one of these side scraping, do you try and take its rear sprocket out because that's where the second track is?
Well, why would you side scrape if you were running one?
Again, yes.
Why not just come out forward?
Who cares?
And if they track you, you can back out.
Yeah.
So that's
changes the gameplay.
That's where I see its tactical advantage being the ability to come out, shoot, and back out and not get pinned down. You know, even
there's one point there with Randall, EBRs don't get tracked, so you can use that as a baseline. Yes, you can use that as a baseline, but don't forget that it doesn't have the speed of an EBR. So even if you can't track it, it slows it down.
I think his point is that you just can't pin it down, so it can always start seeking cover. It can always seek cover. So when you're doing a peek poke battle, and you come out, you get shot, you get tracked, you use your kit, you pull back. The next time you come out and get tracked, you're not, unless you have two kits.
Yeah, that's it.
Or it's been 90 seconds. You're getting pinned down. So now you have to make that determination. All right, can I? Yeah, EBRs don't corner fight. So this is what I'm talking about. The corner fight with this thing. And so is that a good enough advantage? Because that's its thing, right?
Yeah.
It's one of these tanks that has a gimmick.
Yeah.
And balancing the rest of the tank around the gimmick or considering the gimmick, that's the trick. So let's take a quick look at it with what I think is its closest analog in terms of capability, the Renegade, which is still a very good Tier 8 premium.
Right.
It's been out for a while now, but it really hasn't been eclipsed by much at Tier 8, and it's an American tank. So, firepower. It is showing a little less for the M4Y. They both have a 360 alpha. The M4Y is sitting at 218 pen, and they both have about a 250-ish gold round. So not a massive gold round as pen-wise. Usable, but not, close to 300 kind of thing. That is one of the things you have to watch out for with the Renegade, even when you dab 2. So the same thing applies with the M4Y. It seems to be a very similar gun. The Renegade has a higher rate of fire because it reloads quicker. So same alpha, but a faster reload. They have similar gun traverse. They both have -10, +20 right there. They both have a 2.4 aim time, but the M4Y is a slightly worse gun carriage. It's got a .38. Guys, this is no equipment, no crew skills, but 100% crew. So you're getting that bonus for having 100% crew. Also, break. These are the numbers as we know it, not necessarily the numbers as they will be implemented into the game.
So right. Even though it's in the comparison, even though it's...
I think they're pretty they're going to be pretty darn close. I don't think it's going to change a whole bunch, but possible. So this gives the Renegade an advantage in DPM of a little bit over 200.
Right.
All right, so basically we'll take a look at the armor profiles because they tell kind of a story too, very similar. So now what we have is pretty similar, slight advantage to the Renegade in firepower, but the Yo tank could come out a couple times without getting tracked.
Yes.
Does that matter? I don't know. I feel like it does. Does it matter a bunch? I don't know. 1,500 hit points. Whole armor is similar. The Yo is showing a better survivability purely because of thickness of armor. But we're going to take a look at the actual profile here in a minute because that will also tell a tale. But in theory, Yo tank's got a very thick turret and pretty darn thick whole armor with angling.
Right.
We get down here to speed, 45 to 42.
Right.
Pretty reasonable, I think, for heavy tanks. The Renegade gets around. The Yo tank's a little slower. Traverse speed's about the same right here. You guys can't see it because Pilgrim's covering it up. One of the bigger differences, really, for me anyway, the Renegade has a 400 view range, and the Yo tank's sitting at 380.
Right. Okay.
So that is a bit of a knock on the Yo tank. A slightly worse in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
Renegade.
And does that then translate to gameplay?
Right. Slightly worse in terms of numbers. Renegade, that in theory is very difficult to track. That's probably the best way, I think, to describe it. Is very difficult to track. It's not that it's impossible, but it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the armor profiles here. So here is the Renegade, and everyone's pretty familiar with this.
Yeah.
With the slightly less thick turret, but because of the angling, it's much more rounded. The Yo tank's turret is round, but it's not rounded like...
No, there'll still be flat spots on it. Yeah.
You get hold down, you get these pretty good bouncy upper plates. It's still pretty thick. Lower plate is decently thick at 150 or so, but easily pennable by most tier 8 stuff. It is rounded, so you get these kind of angles like this. If your shell goes off to the right or you aim off to the right, get these auto bounce ricochet kind of angles. And then, of course, Mr. Toomer says hi at 176 up there, and it's quite large. Okay, so that's cool. So let's take a look at the Yo tank. Interesting. Huh. Also a big tumor that's not as thick. This is going to get penned by tier 6s quite a bit. Tier 6s will sometimes struggle to pen the tumor of the Renegade, but that's not that big a deal because while you do occasionally see tier 6s, really you're worried about 8s, 9s, and 10s with the Renegade. Same thing with the Yo tank. This is very thicker than the Renegade, but not. See, it's just round. It's still though. You're talking. You're talking 280, 300. That's thick, man. You know what I mean? Based on the angle right there, that is extremely thick. You're talking guys that are needing like 300 pen to have a chance.
And that's gold round territory.
That is gold round or big TDs. Now there is some kind of. They did talk about this right here. That's up underneath the gun, and then depending on where the gun is, it can expose more or less of that of that slot. So there is that's a second kind of weak spot for this on the turret. You got the big Tuma, and then you have some ability to work around the gun right here.
Yeah.
Very.
If you're working a corner, that covers your tumor. You pretty much if you are working that corner, you're pretty much solid there, really, aren't you? Because what's the angle like on the lower plate?
Yeah, so if you were covering that tumor, you'd be coming out probably at this angle.
Yeah.
It's still, because it's rounded, and that's a weakness of coming out forward with a rounded plate, is, and you would, can I get the turret to point at me? I know I can, but I don't remember how to do it. How do I move the turret? Turret move.
That thing on the bottom left. That thing on the bottom left.
Ah!
Down there, yeah.
Oh, now we're screwed.
What dear.
All right, whatever. It looks something like that. What is going on here? Hold on.
I don't know. Yeah, put the rear of your turret to the enemy.
Ooh,
that'll work.
I had it. Oh, it moved. But stop it. Oh, I'd have to click it? All right, this is fun, right? This is fun now. Stop.
It's cool.
Click. I did it. All right, there you go. So you're coming around. You're coming around the corner, looking something like that. You've got some. If they go off to the right, you got some good bouncy. But it flat plates this kind of stuff here.
Yeah.
So it becomes a little easier to hit that part of the plate. But I've run into this problem. The American tanks are very weird when it comes to that, especially if people are doing a little bit of wiggling. It's hard to. Yes, you can get to some pretty weak armor, but it's easy to also get off to the side a little bit and get these auto bounces.
You've got to think about dispersion and RNG as well. Unless you can guarantee the accuracy, then the odds are you're not going to get a shot every time.
But you could easily be looking at a silhouette like this. If the building that you're working around is right here and covering up this portion of the tank, then this is all you see. You got this top plate that's going to be some serious auto bounce. You got the right side of the curvature
Yeah.
that's ricochet, and then you're trying to get right here, or
Yeah.
in here to at least take off the main track, which
Yeah.
isn't going to stop him.
No.
And even if he comes out and you hit this track and you detrack it, and then he comes out again, you hit this track and detrack it.
You've got the rear track working.
Yeah, so he's going to be doing it slower, so he may eat a few more shots in this area, and that does allow you to have a few more pokes at him. But he is going to slowly move back out of the way, back to cover.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think having gone through this, I mean, I was sort of skeptical. I was sort of skeptic about your skepticism. But actually now, having gone through the armor profiles, it's starting to click into place that this could be quite a different gameplay and could have quite an effect, depending on the numbers in battle, on that particular type of play. So corner fighting would dynamically change. It would have to, because you can't fight that in that situation. You can't.
Yeah.
You would be you would be well dead before you made an impact against that.
And let's talk about other situations where maybe you're going to circle a guy and you come out, and one of the things you'll do with the faster medium tank is try to detract the heavy so you can pin him down so he can't spin around and put his front profile to you.
Yeah.
That's going to be more difficult against the Yo tank. So, there's a lot of little standard gameplay tactics that will be less effective against the Yo tank. So the question then becomes, as I posited earlier, all right, are the stats good enough that added with the new mechanic it makes it overpowered? I don't know.
Right.
We won't find out until we see these things play.
Exactly. In given situations, Guido, it may well be overpowered. For example, the situation we've just talked about, it may not be overpowered in a different situation. If you're on something like the wide open maps without cities, it may not be such a big problem. But I think certainly any city brawl, it looks like on paper and with the armor profile that there's going to be a significant advantage to being in that tank.
Yeah. MW Conrad, good morning. Good morning. Well, there's other situations too. It's not just a purely peek and poke city fight thing. You're moving from cover to cover, and in the past, if you could pin down a heavy by detracking it, it was in big trouble. And then it would burn a kit, and it would start moving and get detracked again. Well, this thing it's going to take more hits to do that, and maybe it gets to the cover it was trying to get to more easily, and it's less often pinned down and crushed that way. I don't know the stats, because I compared it with the Renegade on purpose, because it's a kind of a similar profile. The Renegade is better stats wise, slightly. But this thing has that mechanic. So where does it fit? Now, once we start to play it and we use that mechanic, does it make it better, worse, or the same as the Renegade?
Yeah, that's a good point. Is the track mechanic the overpowering thing about the tank? Because on paper, it doesn't look anything more than it is.
It looks good. It's decent.
Yeah.
It's certainly decent. And, MW makes a good point. Besides the track, it looks average. Yeah, I think it's
average.
Slight. If you didn't have the track mechanic, you would say, well, it's a slightly worse Renegade, was what it looks like.
Right, yeah.
But it has the track mechanic, so how important will that be? We'll find out.
Well, only time will tell. I mean, it'll be interesting. It's fine when they put it into tests and they put it into common tests and they put it into super tests. But actually, the real world, when it gets out into pubbies, that'll be the difference. That's where you'll see it.
I mean, going back to Cliffy's point, or who was it that said whoever said use the EBRs as a baseline? I think that's valid.
Yes,
because that's why the wheeled tanks are good. They can't be pinned. Well, their speed, one, but also two, and in addition to, they can't be pinned down. You can't. You almost can't make a big enough deal about that in terms of how this game is played.
Yeah.
Soft stats. I didn't do a comparison. Let me see. We can probably knock that out real quick. Let's go.
While you're looking for that, I think just in response to that is that it depends very much on how much it slows down when it's. I know we've got the figures when it's being tracked and it's got running its secondary track, because it has fairly sort of average armor. So if even though it's still moving, it'll take hits.
Yeah. All right. Here's the Here's the soft stats. So we've got the Yo tank compared to the Renegade. So as we discussed, most of the numbers are slightly worse. Dispersion, considerably worse. So 0.15 for moving and tank traverse, 0.20 for the Yo. The rest of it's the same.
Right.
So, yeah, it's worse. It's not heinously worse, but the moving stuff is going to be a bit worse. The rest of it's pretty much the same. Shell velocity is similar. Speed. Actually, its effective top speed on medium and soft is better. Slightly worse on hard. That's interesting. There you go. Medium and soft terrain speed's better. That's important because a good portion of maps are medium and soft terrain.
Yeah.
What is this?
I think coming back to that comparison, that I think it will certainly be effective. Should we call it effective in city maps on hard terrain in corner battle situations? Given the rest of the maps, I don't know. Any tank in the open, whether it's tracked or not, is a magnet for a number of barrels.
Yeah.
These may well get focused. Somebody comes out in one of these particular tanks might find himself focused. People want to get rid of it.
I think that number's wrong. I'm looking at this gun traverse speed right here.
Yeah, what's his saying?
20 high, 10 low. That doesn't seem right. It's saying it's got a 10 gun traverse. What is that from? Gun traverse a second. That's turret. Oh, gun traverse. Gun traverse. Is that how fast it depresses and it goes up and down?
I've never
so
seen
to
that.
speak. Anybody know in chat what that is? Is that actually the traverse up and down to get to the elevation and depression? Because that seems slow. That's kind of interesting. Is it move because it's got that weird turret? Is it really slow to move the gun straight up and down?
To try and, wouldn't that be? It's how fast it moves up and down, says Conrad. Wow, that would be disconcerting to want to really.
That's interesting. Yeah. So it's gonna take a while to do this, which makes sense with the way the turret is designed. It's got it's a turret inside a shell.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's interesting. Track health is relatively low.
Will you get one to do a review on? Do you think?
Probably.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
I
usually do. In the past, I have. So unless something weird changes, I don't see why I wouldn't. Which is why we're doing this right now, because I don't have one.
Yeah.
I'm not under NDA, and they put this in the game, so I can talk about. Yeah. That's the stupid game. That's the stupid game we play.
Yeah.
Like if they had given it to me, I wouldn't be allowed to talk about it this much, because once I have actual experience with it, now I'm under it. That's how dumb it is. And that's why I caveated at the beginning. This is obviously pure speculation, and those numbers are subject to change. But that's what's in the game right now. Everybody can right now go down there and do the comparison tool and see the numbers Wargaming has published for this tank.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, there is a percentage. It does slow down, and that's important. The wheel tanks slow down also. It's just that their slow is not that slow compared to the rest of the game. This thing will be quite slow.
I think we're in danger of just over talking that a little bit, because the EBRs are tiny compared to a heavy tank. So I think even though it'll be slowed down, people will focus it and still be able to hit it as it's crawling its way into cover.
Yeah.
I think you'll still be able to do that.
It needs to slow down because the crew has to jump out and run beside it, fixing it.
With the spanner fixing the other track.
Oh, God, quit moving. You got to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Probably not, though.
Carrying the track over their arms and chucking it down in front of it.
Absolutely. I mean, most tankers are like Arnold Schwarzenegger, aren't they? They can carry a piece of track on the back.
Oh, yeah.
Roof.
Yeah. Well, I
it's
don't
not
know who's
having it
inside
done.
driving it when they're all out fixing it, but
Well, exactly that. Yeah, it's on. It's on RC, isn't it? They got somebody with a remote control doing
is
it.
that what it is? Yeah. All
I
right,
don't know.
so there you go for Yo tanks. There you go for Yo
Cool.
tanks. What else
Cool,
we
cool.
got? Subjects du jour.
Well,
Windows
we got
11.
Windows 11.
Windows 11. Anybody using it yet? Down in
Oh
chat.
no.
Down in chat. Anyone got Windows 11 fired up?
Yep.
I suppose when I buy my new rig here in the near future, I'll probably get it with Windows 11.
Yeah.
According to Wargaming, their game is working with it, but
Okay.
we'll see. I don't see why not, but
I got a message. I got a message from the last update from Windows. There's a little caveat on the right hand side of the update. Your computer is not. What's the word they used?
compatible,
Basically, they said your computer's a potato and it won't take Windows 11.
not compatible.
Yeah, yeah, your computer's
Well, that's
crap.
concerning. What is it that it needs? Is it going to
Well,
just
I don't
soak
know.
up
It's
a
something to
bunch
do with
of?
the motherboard. Yeah, it's a motherboard
So it's
thing.
going to soak up a bunch more capability just to run the stupid Windows 11, huh?
Possibly.
Hmm.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
So I guess that's a decision I'm going to have to make. Do I get 10 with my new rig and just deal with 11 later after they've kind of worked out the kinks, or do I just early adopt and get on with it?
I'm always a bit nervous about Microsoft and their bit. You know, they had some really good OS, and then in between the really good OSs, they had some real dogs. You know, and you just seem to think Windows 10 seems to be one of the good things.
What
One of
is
the good.
TPM? I don't know what that is.
Oh, what is that? And BIOS, TPM and BIOS. It's all French to me.
Now the BIOS is the basic. I don't know, basic architecture for your motherboard. You don't basically you can do stuff in the BIOS. You don't even need Windows on the machine to do anything with that.
Ah, okay. TPM, don't know. Bring back Windows 7. Good one, Wayne. Yeah, Windows 7 is
A
good.
security chip. Oh, great,
Right, okay.
great.
Okay.
Bring back 10 has been fine. Trusted platform module. Okay.
Okay.
I have no idea if I have one of those. How new is that? My board's about 5 or 6 years old now, so I don't know if I have one.
Oh, crikey. 10 is going to be supported till 2025, so I'm cool. I'll have an Apple by then.
Well, there you go.
Saved up enough.
Maybe I will just order 10 and it should be there. Interesting. Well, there you go.
Okay.
All right, so that's it. Windows. And the last thing we had is Captain Kirk went to space.
He did. Yeah, he did. Captain Kirk went back to space, shall we say. Back to space. Yeah.
I
My
was
question
curious.
is-
I was curious where the rest of the crew was. It's suspicious that you didn't see any of them. I feel like
Yes.
maybe he was gonna blast off into space, and that's how he got back to the Enterprise. But he came
I was
back.
hoping that. Yeah.
He didn't go to space, Cliffy. I know. He went to high altitude.
Well, yeah, but it's still classed as space, isn't it? Because it passed that line. What's it called? The Carnarvon line or something it's called, isn't it?
I think they changed. Didn't they change something about the requirement, and they're not calling those guys? I know that Blue Origin and Bezos is calling them astronauts,
Astronauts.
but I don't
Yeah.
think they're qualifying as astronauts based on whatever the new requirement is or something. I don't
Oh,
know.
that'd be shame, wouldn't it? No, that's not right. You know, Captain Kirk is an astronaut,
That's
isn't he?
the world's most expensive elevator ride.
Possibly. Do you know what I was worried about? Was there anybody wearing red shirts when they went up? Because you know what happens to the red-shirted people on
They didn't
Star
come
Trek,
back,
don't
did
you?
they?
They never come back.
No, they didn't
yeah.
come back. No, they
I wonder if
beamed.
there's anybody wearing a red shirt was slightly twitchy as they took off.
You know what somebody needs to do is they need to. I bet it's already out there. There needs to be like some of the pictures as they're up there, and then do the beaming thing,
thing. Yeah.
and then just
Yeah.
take them out of the picture.
Yeah, yeah.
And have them
Like he was a red shirt.
have them beam back down to Earth or something.
Ah, brilliant. Morgan says hello from Texas. Hello from Texas.
Orgaz, how's it going, man? Actually, there is a picture floating around out there. Just look it up. But they did a they did a promo picture, and he's in a gold
No
Blue Origin
way.
suit, and the other three or so, whatever it was, are in red ones. And
Yes.
he's standing there, and they're all kind of smiling. So I mean, they've definitely done a fan service thing.
Brilliant.
It's out there. Just
Brilliant.
look it up. It's definitely
Oh,
out
I'll
there.
have a look then. It'll be on something on the. I'll go to YouTube or something. It might be on there, mightn't it,
Yeah.
or something. That'd be cool. Yeah. So here's a question then, fast jet pilot, sir. As a fast jet pilot, did you never really want to go and be an astronaut then? Because they tend to recruit from the Air Force, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I would love to do that, but I didn't have a technical degree, and there was, they mostly take test pilots.
Oh, right. Okay. Is that not something you considered you wanted to do,
No, it's nothing I ever really wanted to do. I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to go through it. So,
is it quite? I should imagine it's quite a strenuous
oh, absolutely. I mean,
selection
they
process.
want
and everything else.
engineers and astrophysicists and aeronautics guys and biologists and all this. They didn't need a history major in space.
Well, you never know.
I mean, they
Come
never told
across
me
alien,
that.
you
I
could-
kind of assumed
yeah.
it, but there you go.
Well,
I
you
could
would
go
think.
up. I could write a paper while I'm up there weightless.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could, if you come across an alien, you could discuss the history of humanity, couldn't you?
Yeah.
In fact, there's a question. As a pilot, have you ever seen an alien spaceship, a UFO?
Have I
a lot
seen
of
a
them have.
Have I seen a UFO? Yes.
Right, but not classed as an alien UFO.
No, I have not seen anything I thought was an alien UFO.
No,
I've
no
seen
little
plenty of
green
things.
men waving at you.
One day we're up there flying along, and I see this like silvery thing floating around. And we go by it, and speed is relative, right?
Yeah,
Relativity. It is
Yeah.
all. It's all relative to your speed, its speed, the distance between you, the direction of travel, all that good stuff.
yes.
So I see this kind of silver thing go by me. I'm like, well, that was interesting. So I actually, because I was solo at that point, or not with my wingman, I basically came back around. I could still see it, so I kind of kept locked onto it, came around. It was a great big kids balloon, like a big one, like
Oh, seriously?
yeah. And I don't know what it said something on it. It was
Wow.
probably happy birthday or anniversary. I don't know. There was definitely colors and stuff on it. I couldn't read it as I went by.
Right.
But that's just one example of all the weird stuff you see while you're flying around.
Yeah, because realistically, across, let's say, just the United States, there's a million kids with those helium balloons with happy birthday on
Yeah.
being let go all the time.
Yeah.
So things are going to be in the air, aren't they, until they pop when they get to a certain height? Or
It's not a
whatever.
case of
So-
saying they're all kids balloons. There's so
No,
many
but-
different things that you can see up there that can be floating around. Obviously, like the Navy footage of the Tic Tac thing is very very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Personally, my opinion is it's some kind of advanced drone because
Okay.
anyone can float their trawler up nearby the U.S. and launch unmanned stuff.
Yeah.
And depending on
Yeah.
who it is
Yeah.
and what their technology is,
Yeah.
it's very possible that they have something that's extremely fast. Now, it was doing some crazy stuff, and they did the calculations and things. But again,
Yeah.
it's all guesswork, really. It's backed up by maths, and they're doing this stuff. But
Yeah.
you know,
I don't discount the possibility that there is higher level civilizations out in the universe because it's that big that there has to be even by just pot luck there has to be a civilization. But you've got to look at time frames. The universe is only so old. So, and our particular civilization started at a given point. So, a more advanced civilization possibly would have had to start earlier in the expanse of the universe, and then develop the capability to travel translight or warp or whatever you want to call it to be able to get to us. And actually, in the universe, why would they bother to get to us in the first place? I mean, do we go to the Burmese jungle to go and see orangutans every day of the week? No, we don't. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
well, I think for me, the most interesting discussion on that is the Fermi Paradox. That's I think the most interesting discussion on. All right, if there is intelligence out there, how come we haven't found it or met it or been contacted by it?
Yeah.
And he has the three possibilities with the Fermi Paradox of the reasons it
Yeah.
could be. All of which are plausible reasons because that was a really
Yeah.
smart guy. That's a great story. I know you can find that on the internet too. But basically, Fermi was a nuclear scientist. I believe he was a nuclear scientist, but he was at Los Alamos as part of the Manhattan Project.
Right.
There were a lot of really smart guys there, and they would sit around apparently at lunch and have all kinds of crazy discussions. And that one day he was known for being kind of quiet, from my understanding. And one day they were sitting around eating lunch, and he just posited that kind of out of the blue.
Right.
If there is alien intelligence, how come we haven't met it? And then he kind of spelled out the things. And the point of that story, I think the guy was telling it was like these were the kind of guys where you just had to listen, and every once in a while, or more often than not, really, that some very profound thing came out of their mouths.
Yeah, which is like, well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things in chat there, which is quite. You can encapsulate that into one generic theory: is that if there is intelligent life out there that has the ability to get to see us, why would they bother anyway? Because we're not that significant to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, Cliffy's saying you know more, but there's a man in black behind you.
That's right, the little clicky thing. Don't give me the clicky thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. But yeah, I mean, it's like very much like when I spoke to Stephen Hawkins, and such an intelligent man, and all we were doing is discussing ladies' underwear. I mean, such a prophetic thing to come out of Stephen Hawking's mouth was, I don't think there's anything that would fit me in there in Victoria's Secret. And I was like, that's going down in the annals of history, that is.
I mean, at the end of the day, maybe the most worthwhile discussion to have, other than worrying about whether aliens exist or not.
Yeah.
That is one, Al, that's one of Fermi's possible positions, is that the universe is too big and they just aren't able to contact each other. Yes, they're out there, but it's impossible. It is theoretically possible, but realistically impossible to contact.
You see that comment from Howie, which is very true. We might be a food source.
Yeah. Well, that's a very real question, right?
Yeah, predator.
Just because they contacted it doesn't mean that they're friendly.
No,
it doesn't mean we're friendly.
No, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what if we manage that? What are we doing? Probably looking for resources, probably in places to live, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if we show up somewhere, say a distant shore called North America, and decide we need more room on a planet called the New World or whatever.
Yeah.
People or things that live there. So
we don't have a very good track record, do we, as a human race, as a species?
Well, I don't think there's any reason to believe any other race would have a very good track record.
No, exactly. They wouldn't have a higher moral outlook, would they?
I mean,
the Klingon Empire would descend on us, and poor old William Shatner would be jetted off in his little Orion Blue to get the F out of here because he's scared of the Klingons.
I mean, I suppose they could be so alien that that's not even a consideration, but I kind of doubt that.
No.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yes, they could be very strange and different, but I don't see any reason why the natural urges to reproduce and expand and whatever would be any different on a different planet.
No. There has to be a reason. I mean, like we're trying to get back to the moon, we're trying to get to Mars. It's the way I understand it, it's not just the exploration of space, but it is a resource investigation. There are resources on the moon which, if we could mine, would obviously, well, not obviously because that's the wrong word to use, but would possibly allow us to extend our lifetime on the planet. And the same with Mars. Why are we going to Mars? Because colonizing it, the resources there, etc., another planet. It's a very selfish attitude for explanation, isn't it? It's not all about the higher level things, is it?
Yeah, I know it's an interesting time. We start to, I mean, basically the way I look at the current exploration, such as it is, of space, is literally cross the cavemen sitting on one side of the river and trying to figure out how to cross over.
Yeah,
I mean that's really, we have a whole planet and they're trying to get across a mediocre sized river. That's where we
Yeah.
are. I mean, we're putting our canoes and maybe a floating stick to swim with, and
Yeah.
crossing a medium sized river. Not even the Mississippi, just like one you could almost throw a rock across. That's the
Are there? Can I just pull you up? Are there any sticks that don't float? You just mentioned a floating stick. Are there non-floating
very
sticks out
small rocks
there? Very small rocks.
also
Yeah.
float. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Like
witches
ducks on a pond.
and witches float.
She's a witch. Oh dear.
I've heard it. I've heard it described thusly, which I thought was fascinating. We don't actually go into space. We go into the atmosphere of the sun. We exist essentially. We exist essentially in the atmosphere of the sun.
We do.
That's where we are. Space is interstellar, outside
Way
of the
yeah.
shock wave of the
Yeah.
sun. That's
Yeah.
actual space. We exist within basically the atmosphere of the sun. Most of
So
our
that's a good thing. Yeah,
most
that's
of
a
our
good
spacecraft
thing.
have never left the atmosphere of the Earth.
Yeah.
The atmosphere of the Earth goes at least out to the whatever it is, the halfway point between us and the moon.
Right.
That's a gravity thing, but
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's halfway. There's a point at which the moon's gravity takes over from the Earth in
Right.
between us, if you're going towards the moon anyway. But most of our spacecraft are essentially in the atmosphere.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, we've had Voyager go out beyond the stars now, haven't we?
and
it's still
then it came back
transiting.
and tried to destroy us, but Captain Kirk saved us all.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
When V'ger came back and tried to kill us.
V'ger came back. I know. She was nice looking, wasn't she? Anyway.
V'ger tried to get us. Yes, Voyager 1 and 2. Has the other one gone? I thought the other one got outside.
Have they both gone now? Yeah.
The
They're still
heliosphere
talking.
is the word.
Yeah, they're still
That's
sending stuff back.
yeah. The heliosphere is the furthest out effect, the sun's atmosphere effect, or
Yeah.
radiation,
Yeah.
whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, right there.
Yeah. It's now in deep space, they say, don't they?
Yeah. Yep. At
Hey,
least they think so. I mean, hell,
Yeah. It could be. It
It's
could be
their-
a parallel universe.
it's their best guess right now, right? It's obviously
Yeah.
taking its measurements, and they're getting their information.
Yeah. Yeah. Number one stream on Space Talk. You're right, Wayne. It's just because he was a pilot. I just wondered. That's all. It's one of those things that come out of it, isn't it? I'll fly a jet. I mean, all right.
Let's
you
go
didn't
back
fly
to
a bus, did you?
poor William Shatner. Not
Yeah, let's
not,
go back to Paul Williams.
not the
Shatner.
Captain
Yeah.
Kirk persona.
No.
So I start watching that launch, right? And
Yeah.
it's got the drone taking the pictures, and they all get in the car and they drive there, and they all get out, and I'm watching this. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm thinking they'll get in the elevator, and they'll go up to the top of the gantry, and they'll walk across, and then I see them climbing the stairs.
Oh, it's so bad, isn't it?
I'm like, Bezos, are you freaking serious, dude? You've built a rocket that can go to sort of space? These guys are paying, I don't know how much money. I don't know if Shatner paid any money or whether it was free publicity stunt. Who knows? But somebody's been paying some money. And you're gonna make this 90-year-old guy climb 10 stories. So they do this. Well, it was pretty awesome because they would go a flight and he would stop and rest. Then they'd go a flight and he would stop. When he got to the top, they were showing the thing. He's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
He's like-
is spit. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, you're going to space and you've just done the worst workout of your life for the last 30 years.
And every stop, he's like that. Scotty, beat me up. Scotty, beat me up, for crying out loud.
I'm just
beat
like-
me up.
Where is your freaking elevator, bro? How much money do you have? You don't even have a damn elevator in your gantry to get them up there? Oh, my God.
Brilliant.
don't-
Absolutely brilliant. Bless. I think if Elon Musk had done it, it would have been an elevator. Do you not think?
Yeah, it would have been a Tesla coil, and it fires them up there, and
Yeah. Doctor Who wants to know if there's a channel where they talk about World of Tanks. It ain't this one, mate.
I remember a dim memory of that back in the day where we might have done that at one point. Thanks for the follow. Who we got? Katie91. Katie, oh my gosh, I've done it again. Why does it keep doing that? Am I frozen again? I bet I am.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah.
I'm moving.
So I
potato.
actually have the same issue then. Huh.
You have the freeze issue when you go
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and click on stuff. I think it's Discord, mate.
There we go. Interesting.
You're moving again. Yeah, I think it's to do with Discord, is it not? I think Discord is resource heavy.
I don't know. What I did is I sent all the windows down to the taskbar.
Right.
If I left click on a window, excuse me, long enough, or maybe it's right click. There's something I do, and they all drop down to the taskbar, and then it freezes
Okay.
until I turn the source on OBS. Until I turn the source on OBS off and back on, and then it starts doing its thing again.
Ah, right, okay. At least you weren't, as said in chat, at least you didn't have your finger up your nose like that.
That's valid.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we don't have a. I don't think we have a contest this week, right?
No competition this week because
Okay.
we've got the special for next Sunday. So, and I'll sort if AI Einstein can give me his in-game name again. It's the same thing, isn't it? But let me know. I'll whisper and I'll sort your 1,000 gold out for the competition you won 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Al, send him a whisper in Twitch here so we can get that out to you. Next
Cool.
week
I'll
we
do
will
it.
have the 200th episode of Coffee Talk. Will be giving away 3 things, probably 3 Tier 8 Premium equivalent things as we go. So that'll be fun. We'll give away right there on stream. That will be for NA. Just unfortunately for the EU folks, that's all I'm able to do. Right there.
But I can gift to EU. So if you want to, we'll work it out.
We'll work it out. Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
I will be
Yeah.
streaming tomorrow on Monday. You can expect that midday sometime. 10 or 11 whenever I get the feels and we get started with it. Probably stack up in the afternoon. I don't know about the rest of the week. Tomorrow's video will be another collab. You'll see best, in my opinion anyway, best tier 9s for Frontline. Frontline starts tomorrow. So enjoy that, my friends, and you guys have a good Sunday. I think that's all I've got from the left side of the Atlantic.
And it's everything the Pilgrim's got from the correct side of the Atlantic.
See you guys. Have a good one.